everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Assassin's Creed, your number one podcast for all things Assassin's Creed. I am back, I think. Yes, I'm back. Okay, so it's another Saturday and another episode. And this one comes as a bit of a surprise because I maybe messed something up. But you'll know that tomorrow by checking out Vision of the Past's podcast on Spotify. And now the reason why I'm highlighting Visions of the Past Assassin's Creed Lore podcast is I was asked by them last week to be a co-guest appearance on their show, which was very fantastic, and we discussed about the Viking era and the lore impacts. That will be premiering tomorrow at 6 PM Eastern Standard Time, I think he said. So just keep checking Spotify for Visions of the Past. Check it out. He's a really great person. Loved his shows, one of the inspirations. And I kind of hinted at this episode last week, but I was supposed to do this episode next week, so today, but I kind of forgot my podcast script for today. And sadly, today might be my last ever podcast. Spreaker is running out of space to host me. I don't know if I can delete episodes to make up space. If I can't, then this is officially the end of Let's Talk Assassin's Creed. Until I can figure something out, because you can't get rid of me that easily. I will figure something out, but enough of that. Let's dive into today's episode for a bit of fun, and that is fantasy is canon. And now when everybody thinks of Assassin's Creed, they think historical settings. Leonardo da Vinci. Who was that 300 guy? Leonidas. There we go. Who else we got? We've had Bayek, Cleopatra, Julius Caesar, all them big people. And they think, Assassin's Creed is a historical game, no fantasy is allowed. And now I'm not talking Elder Scrolls with dragons, Khajiit and stuff like that. I'm talking human mythology that we've all discussed in life. Stories of King Arthur, Jesus, which is we're not going to discuss that, but it's just stuff that's been discussed. The Greek myths, Egyptian myths and legends of Horus, Icarus, flying to across the sun in Greek mythology, pagan mythology about the Ent people, unicorns, stuff like that, and it's mad, I know, and it's not Assassin's Creed if it's fantasy, but it is. And now the reason I'm saying it is because our definition of Assassin's Creed is from what we've played, but there's a whole level playing field, and that is Isu. And I'm always going to circle back to Isu because they created the Olympus Project, and the Olympus Project was a way of turning human slaves into monsters, which turned out to be the Minotaur, Medusa, the Sphinx, and Cyclops, which is a very annoying one to beat in Odyssey. And if that happened once before, how do we know it never happened again? How do you know that some cult of Isu tried to make mankind fear of the dark, essentially, and fear of the unknown by creating real mythological beasts, gods, for fear? The legend of King Arthur, I think, was meant to be true with the Sword of Eden, and that's already a myth proven true, but a unicorn, I really think unicorns could be a stretch. Okay, I will admit that. I jokingly say it, but Odin, Thor, Loki, they could have all been Isu people, and because they're better than us with their DNA, their powers, they're gods. They're not. They're a form of Homo sapiens, well, a better breed than us, but they're still gods among man, because we perceive them as gods because of their abilities. Heck, Cassandra was a god, and if you played Alexios and you designed the abilities right, you could have made Alexios into Hercules, which was a Greek mythology again, proving Greek mythology is right and could have been real. So I'm not expecting Assassin's Creed to go out and make an Elder Scrolls or some big fantasy Dungeons and Dragons. No, that's weird. What I'm saying is, what if in real historical times some of the legends that people feared were real? I'm trying to think of a really good example. I know Arthurian legend's really well done, and you could imagine something like that, but see, I had the script, but I lost it. But I'm trying to think. Bayek. We'll go with Bayek. That's a good one. See, sorry about this. I'm not the script, so I'm trying to do this off my head. But Bayek saw the Great Serpent in a vision. That was fantasy, but canon because it was in a vision. Assassin's Creed 3 DLC, where Connor was able to shapeshift into an eagle and a bear, that was fantasy in a parallel dimension, yes, but canon because it was Piece of Eden. King Arthur's Sword in the Stone, his DNA could have unlocked the Isu artifact, making him the only one to wield it. It makes him a god. Goblins and elves could be little robots from the Isu age. We don't know what they look like, we just know what people have told us through Chinese whispers down the years. You know, why is humans so fear of the dark? Why is all these superstitions around human history so prominent? But maybe it's because there is a real reason for it to be there. Maybe in the games, the Isu could have been the ones who put the fear of God in humans as an extra way to keep them as a slave race. They no longer can cattle us like sheep using the Beast of Edens on us, so why not cattle us as sheep using mind games and trickery? Magic, sorcery, all Isu. Philosopher's Stone, which give people turn gold. It's either eternal life, or that could just be Harry Potter, but turn lead into gold, alchemy. Magic, myth, or Isu technology. Somebody sees a great demon in a forest. Isu technology, or just plain fantasy. You know, and there has to be that line between way too fantasy, which Odyssey did delve a little bit into there, but it pulled itself back, where you have to find a fine line, and you can find that fine line using the same treatment in Bayek, using induced coma or induced sleep, so they hallucinate it, that's fine. A glitch in the Helix system, which caused the Anubis to appear, or as the Curse of the Pharaohs did, Curse of the Pharaohs DLC did, Isu artifacts bringing back the dead, which was weird, it was fantasy, but it was real and canon, and it's possible because we can't expect Assassin's Creed to follow human history to the T. There's got to have that bit of creative difference that keeps the game fresh. And maybe if we played Japanese feudal Japan, which has a huge lore and mythology with demons, and it's fantastic mythology, I'd advise anyone to look it up. But maybe we could have a game that answers the who and the why to mythology. Why is humans scared of the dark? Well, it was this Isu plot or something, you know? It does sound daft out loud, because when you think of fantasy, you think of dragons and Elder Scrolls, and I couldn't see Assassin's Creed going that far because it'd be weird as hell. But I could see them doing it in a more calm, Isu orientated, maybe meditation induced sort of style, something where it fits in with the timeline, which I know Odyssey worked. I don't think it would, but when you fit it in with Medusa, with the Olympus project, Isu meddling, makes a lot of sense. And this is another short one because I am kind of panicking that this is my last ever podcast episode. I'm trying to keep them short to save space so I can create an emergency one if it is my last ever episode. So I want to thank you all for listening, and I'll keep you updated on my social media. Just come check out Facebook, Let's Talk Assassin's Creed, and Twitter @LetCreed, and my email Assassin'sCreedLetTalk@gmail.com. Please just reach out to me, and if you reach out to me, I'll reach out back and tell you the status of the podcast. But if I can't delete anything, I'm going to have to look at new avenues of pushing forward, and I am thinking of going to Anchor, but I keep hearing bad things about Anchor, so I'm kind of worried, or sticking to YouTube, but I don't really like doing it off YouTube, so we'll have to see how we go, guys. Thank you all for listening, and I'll catch you next week.